Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Service Dynamics video where today we're going to be talking about project timelines. All right. So understanding project timelines in the Service Dynamics project flow, like how we implement at Service Dynamics. I'm Rob Jolliffe. I'm CEO of Service Dynamics. I've been in the supply chain for over 30 years, especially focused on ERP systems, mostly for manufacturing, but many manufacturers who also provide aftermarket field service and warranty services to their products. So who is this for? We consider at Service Dynamics, we're focused on the small and medium business looking for their first ERP software package. ERP software is an all-in-one integrated software package that combines field service management with accounting, with inventory management and control, with CRM, with purchasing and sales control systems, all in one, all-encompassing solution. And our focus is on that SMB space, which Microsoft defines SMB as under 250 knowledge workers. That's people who use a computer to do their job. Office people, shipper receivers, service managers, these would be considered knowledge workers. So 250 is a pretty big company because that might be 1,000 or 2,000 employee total company. Our goal is to walk through today the Service Dynamics methodology, like understand how we do projects, because we're typically coming from a customer who has QuickBooks and an FSM, or they have maybe they're using an old ERP system that they bought, but they've way outgrown it, and 90% of their business is in Excel, and the rest of it is in the system. So we're usually working with clients who are kind of going to their first ERP system, and we use a model called a phase 1, phase 2 approach to do this, and it's designed on getting the customer up and running into a foundationally solid ERP system as quick as we can, so that we can start working on additional enhancements to that. So the advanced features, refinements will be moved into a phase 2. So phase 1, get you up and running with a good, strong foundation. Phase 2, keep building on that foundation and adding more features. We use something called an agile project methodology. You can Google this or Gemini it or Claude it or ChatGPT it and find out what it is. But in a nutshell, there are 2 project philosophies. Now, as a construction trade, if you are providing projects, you are having to quote it out with great detail before you start work on it. That's what's called a waterfall project, very classic for that type of physical world activity. But in an agile project, what you're doing is you're mapping out a rough outline of what you want, not a solid outline. So sometimes we call them wireframes, and then you are implementing with the end user who's going to actually be using the project's final solution, and they are refining as they go. A little bit of how builders will build a house and they won't finish off the kitchen or the living room. They won't finish some things off until the homeowner gives them feedback. But in the software space, because software is so subjective and you can't really always understand it until you see it working, this actually works much better than trying to define the whole project up front and then implementing what you just decided in the beginning. Because if any of you have ever experienced this, quite often you get what the programmer or what the consultants have been told and you've signed off on, you get it, you touch it, and you're like, oh, that's not what I thought it would be. This isn't going to work for me. So we avoid that by starting off at the baseline and then gradually introducing the users a little bit at a time. The users are trained and the system is set up and configured simultaneously. So they're giving real-time feedback and saying, this will work or this won't work. Okay. So the phase 1 is done this way, through this agile approach. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the phases of our project. As you can see here, project go live starts at around week 19, which is around 4.5 months. But let's kind of walk through this. And this is a medium complexity. High complexity will be longer, short complexity will be shorter. We start off with what we call our kickoff discovery process. And we also have some theory, some YouTube videos for you to watch so you understand concepts, because we're going to start getting into training in a few weeks. And we want you to have a baseline understanding of what we're training you on before we start training you. The kickoff, the discovery process is where we're learning about your business. We're having a couple of meetings and finding out what you do today. Make sure that we know what parts we should focus on during that training. We're going to get a training database ready. We're going to take some sample data out of your current systems, Excel, QuickBooks, chart of accounts, whatever it is that we grab that we can use, and we're going to put it up into a training company. It's an incomplete copy of what you do today. So it might only have half dozen customers in it, 10 or 20 different products you sell, or 5 techs in it. If you had 50, we wouldn't put all 50 in, because what we're trying to do is create an environment that we can train you in. We're almost certainly going to do some stuff wrong, so we don't want to overdo it. We want to keep it simple, and as we train you, we're going to be adjusting it. We called this phase adjustment, but realistically, it's just the start of the adjustment process. The training and the piloting is the completion of it. Porch team training is going to take, in this case, it's about 8 weeks, about 2 months. That's a few training sessions, maybe 2 training sessions every other day for a couple of different groups of people. So it's not like the same people are in it every day. You'll have the accounting people kind of in their own track. You'll have the service manager in their track. You might have a warehouse manager and purchasing person who are in a different track. So these tracks are occurring separately, but then they're going to come together as we get closer to the end. And during that time, our team and your team are going to be making some decisions about use of the system. And near the end of this process, we've now trained you to use the system. You have to start using it. And we want you to do a period of practicing with it before you turn it on as a new system that you're just going to roll out to the whole company. That's called piloting. And we do a handoff to you to explain the process of doing the practicing. And we offer a lot of hands-on time with you, where our consultant trainer who trained you will sit with your team during your practice sessions and basically coach you through and tutor you and help you go through it. Eventually, we're going to take the training wheels off, and you're going to be riding the bike on your own without any help from us. And that's going to be the point where we know you're ready to go live. I've put 4 weeks in this. I've had clients who've taken 8, 12, 20, 40 weeks to do this. A lot of it is based on the client, their comfort level, the speed at which they learned, and how much time they can invest. If you can invest a lot of time in this, it's going to go very, very quickly. You're gonna do this piloting process. You're gonna bring some more people in, because you probably started just with 4, maybe 3, 4 people to begin the project to get to that point. Now maybe it's 8 people, and then gradually, as you go live, you're gonna bring the rest of your staff in. There's going to be an accounting go live, and then you're going to start using the system. So the accounting has to be synchronized between the old system and the new system, and then you're going to start using the new system for your new orders. And this first phase that goes through until the piloting starts, small core team, decision makers, usually working managers or power users, 1 representative from each core area of the business. And then the piloting phase, from pilot forward, we're bringing in more people, and we're letting those other people see how the system works and understand it. So what would you get from this? You get standard accounting modules set up and configured. You get inventory management, including purchasing, warehousing. You get sales, service orders, invoicing, estimating probably as part of this, depending on how complex your estimation process is. You'd have field service techs using a starter field service interface. A lot of clients want to go with the Dynamics 365 field service. It's a premier, top of the line solution. That would double or more the duration of the project. I think it might triple the duration. So what we recommend is get that foundation in place that is the same foundation that Dynamics 365 field service uses, but put in our starter field service solution, expand it, start with that. Many clients actually stick with it because they find it simple and easy to use, and it does everything they need. Other clients have that plan to move to Dynamics 365 field service, and we're going to move you there during phase 2 if that's the direction you want to go. The kits or assemblies module and the basic CRM capabilities of the system. But what about other features you want? I just talked about the Dynamics 365 field service, but there are other things that you might want to add as part of your phase included in your phase one. You can do that. You just have to extend it. That's the trade-off. So if you're going to add project accounting and costing into phase one because you feel you absolutely need it, and that's a pretty common thing that you might absolutely need, you're going to add probably about 2 months to your project. So you're going to go from a roughly 4 months to a 6-month project by adding that in, because we need to put some more training time in. You probably need to do some more piloting time. It might stretch out a little bit of time during our setup of the system. It might stretch out a little bit of time during the training of your broader employee base that you need to conduct. So it just stretches the project a little bit. And every time you add more to the project, you're going to stretch out the duration a bit. Or you can add it to phase two. So what would phase two be? So phase two is technically endless. And don't take that as a negative, because I think what we're talking about here is a continuous process improvement. And there's a baseline level of support we provide as part of our sale, which entitles you to continually work on the system and continually add features. Now, some clients say, I want to go faster, because there's a limit to how much time we can dedicate to each customer every month. And you're eligible to use up to that limit. But some customers need more. And if they need more, you can pop up. Like there's a top up that you can add more hours and more capacity into. We will add more capacity to you. And then once you finish that project, you can bring it back down. The baseline allows you to work on things like rolling out a warehouse management system with Wi-Fi scanners. Or you can, if you are a manufacturing company or you have a manufacturing department and you wanted to roll it into phase two, just start rolling that into phase two. Start adding that capability into the system. And these are all modules that are base modules out of the Business Central system at Dynamics 365. Some of them are like right out of the box. Something like this barcode scanning gun and the software used on it is an add-on for it, but the core of the warehousing is in the system. So you're only spending a little bit of money to add that extra interface on the gun. The AI agents are there's some from Microsoft, there's some from third parties. You may want to work on implementing AI. And today, I mean, that is obviously a big path that people are following. Or you may want to implement dashboards into the system so that you have BI, business intelligence dashboards that are hooked into the system. There are a bunch that are already there, but it's very common for people to find that they want something more sophisticated or just tweaked to their needs. So I hope you found this informative. I hope it was explained our process clearly and gives you a good sense of how Service Dynamics works and what our methodology is to get your project up and running quickly so that you can then move on to that continuous process improvement. Thanks very much. Have a great day.